What is going on, guys? We're going to be going over why Thailand beats the US in terms of overall living. And I mean, it has changed a little bit in terms of like my opinion because, someone won and bringing back the American spirit in America. So that does change things up a little bit. So we're going to dive into each one of these categories and deciding whether Thailand or USA wins that certain category. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it. So first off, we're gonna go over climate. So how's the weather? How does it feel overall the majority of the year? So with the US, I mean, it's a very big country. Like you got very cold parts, very hot parts, and parts in between. So it's a little bit iffy in terms of like comparing the two. But Thailand, 99% of Thailand, it's hot all year round. It does have a raining season, of course, for like a few months out of the year, but overall, it's very beautiful weather. You can enjoy going outside, tanning, running, and you won't be able to feel uncomfortable in any way whatsoever. Now, of course, it does get a little bit hot sometimes, especially in the city, because of like the pollution. Everything is like kind of condensed with like the heat coming from the cars, and it can get a little bit hot. So with the climate, I would have to say probably Thailand, just because it's hot all year round. And where I'm from, it did get cold for like 4 to 5 months of the year. So I can just say Thailand's a 24/7, 365 days a year paradise. Next up, we'll go into the quality of life. Like how hard is it to actually live comfortably? And this is actually a pretty easy one. I won't prolong this one. It's easily Thailand because you can survive a lot longer with no income. I came out here with $1,500 to my name and was able to survive 3 to 4 months with no income whatsoever. So I'd have to say the quality of life in Thailand is way better. And a lot of people think Thailand is like a third world country with not that great amenities, food, stuff like that. But in all honesty, it's one of the top places I've been in the world, especially in Bangkok. And yeah, with the quality of life, everything is 3 times cheaper here. So you can spend a lot more for the same or if not better quality than the US in terms of food, products, everything like that. Next up, we'll go into safety. So this one's a little bit of a no-brainer as well because back in the US, especially in Atlanta, you gotta walk around, be mindful of like your watch, your items. You don't wanna stand out a little bit too much or you might get shot in the back, so you gotta like dodge bullets while you're walking in the streets. And definitely Thailand is a lot safer in terms of that because like there's no guns, everyone's very peaceful, and there's no crime. You can walk around with a $50,000 watch on and no one's going to cut your arm off and drive away with it, right? And everyone believes like in karma. So if they do something bad to you, if they steal from you, they feel like they believe in that if they wrong you and do something bad to you, then something bad will happen to their family. So that's why it's very safe here in Thailand, and it looks like it's 3-0 right now, so it's not looking too good for the US, but it looks like the US has an upcoming dub on its way, and that is the language. I'm gonna go ahead and put this right here in the USA because there is a massive language barrier. Here in Thailand, 80 to 85% of people don't speak English, which is pretty unfortunate for me, but luckily I met a Thai girl the second or third day I got here and stuck with her ever since, and she speaks perfect Thai and perfect English, so I have like a walking translator helping me wherever I go. Language, definitely the USA, especially if you speak English, and you should be if you're watching this video, because if you're Thai watching this and you don't speak any English, I don't even know what you're doing here. But next up, we have the woman. So the woman, I'm gonna go ahead and put, I mean, it kind of depends on what your taste is, although you can adapt and conquer because you are an animal, you're a human being. Wherever you're placed in the world as a man, you're just gonna adapt and like the woman there because you're gonna get hungry, whether you like it or not. If you have high enough tests, like you're gonna wanna get with women. So it's just whatever's on the plate is what you're gonna eat. So I thought I didn't like Asian women that much, but then I came out here and within a day I was like all the way in. So I mean, it really depends on your type, but in terms of like overall mindset, what they actually do, how they talk, how they think, their actions from Thailand and the USA, I'd have to say a hard Thailand, just because back in the US, the woman I would get with, they were a lot more brainwashed than the girls here in Thailand. Like they were 2s out of 10 even though they were 2 tons and they didn't look good. They thought they were the Katy Perrys, the Megan Foxes of the world, even though they didn't look that great. So coming out here to Thailand, it's literally the exact opposite situation. The girls here, they're 10s out of 10s, 12 out of 10s, and they think they're 5 out of 10. So it's a very pleasant experience. They cook, they clean. They're very nice, very friendly, and they're very giving as well, because back in America, they would just take your money, take your energy, and you wouldn't get anything back. So Thailand is literally just the exact opposite from my personal experience. And then next we'll be going over the freedom aspect. So with freedom, it really determines on how much money you're making, because in both Thailand and the USA, you can be trapped and basically enslaved if you're not making enough money. But if you are making $10,000 a month online or in person in Thailand or the USA, I'd much rather be in Thailand. And the reason that's the case is you can't, in the US, you can't take shrooms, hop on motorbikes, run along the beach with no shirt on and drive around with no shirt on, no helmet, no license. You can't do that in the USA. You'd get pulled over and go to jail for 6 months to 2 years. But in Thailand, you can do that every night. That's what we did in Koh Samui. Just drove around with shrooms, and it was a very pleasant experience. I wouldn't recommend it to you guys, but that's just kind of showcasing the freedom aspect, because in Thailand, it's literally like a GTA 5 server, and you can do pretty much anything you want as long as you're smart, you're careful, and you don't die along the way, because a lot of people, they live out here like there's no respawn, and those people are me. So you need to be careful still. Don't be just ignorant to the fact that you can still die, and use this freedom wisely. You can do anything you want with whoever you want at any time you want. It's like 24/7 freedom whenever you want it, because in the US, it still is technically a lot more free in terms of like you can go wherever you want with who you want when you want. But if you're not making $10,000 a month, it's going to be very hard for you to do so. You're going to be tied location wise, time wise, and you won't be able to hang out the right people that you need to be hanging out with in order to go down the path towards success. So right now it's 5-0. It's not looking too good for the USA, but we might have some backlash right here where the USA could come back, and that is with the food. To be honest, guys, what I missed most about the USA is the steaks. The steaks in the US are a lot cheaper than here in Thailand, because in Thailand, the steaks are imported from Australia or New Zealand or something like that. So they are a bit more expensive. Every time I get a steak every day, it's around $40 to $50, and I do deliver it, so that might kind of come into that factor. But in the US, you could get twice the size of a steak. I'm not sure about twice the quality. It depends where you get it, but you can get twice the size for literally half or 1/3 of the price. So that's what I do miss about the US is those steaks. But other than that, the eggs, the chicken, everything else is cheaper here in Thailand, but I normally just eat steaks every day, so I do miss that aspect about the USA is those juicy big steaks I would get at Publix. So yeah, USA, you got that one, you got the food down. Now let's see here, the culture. Now this one's a bit controversial because Thailand has really great culture and the USA has great culture. It was dying the last 4 years, but now it's coming back. So I can't really decide which one has the best culture right now because the American spirit is coming back into fruition. So we're gonna go ahead and put this down here to both because you gotta respect both cultures, the Thai people, the American people. They both have great culture. The American culture is coming back, the spirit is being revived. So it's just a matter of time before the USA will win this one in the near future. So now we'll go over family. So this one's just a little bit personal. So family, I don't have any family here in Thailand. So if you're in the USA right now and you come out to Thailand, you're gonna miss your family. So we're gonna go ahead and put this here in the US because you will be missing your family because it's very unlikely that you'll sell your whole family on coming out here to Thailand and just leaving everything behind because that's their entire lives. But it's no problem whatsoever. You can just go back to visit every 6 to 8 months or a year or something like that. But yeah, I mean, family, it really depends on like what family means. So if you want to start a family, I would say starting it in Thailand, that'd be your best bet, although your genetics might be messed up a little bit. But other than that, it's a lot cheaper. The weather's a lot more beautiful. The quality of life is better. It's safe. Plenty of women. The climate's beautiful. So as you guys can see, starting a family here would be great, but if you're leaving your family in the US, then you're gonna have to go back, which makes the USA better in that aspect. Next up, we have the healthcare. So with the healthcare, It's very cheap out here in Bangkok. I went to the hospital only one time when it was actually very embarrassing story, guys. I got some, there's like this lube, and it's like, has this warming sensation. I was, just using it upstairs and whatnot, and accidentally got it on my stomach without me knowing. So I was coming back downstairs after doing some cardio, and I started feeling like a warm sensation in my stomach, and my brain just immediately went to the worst part of like what was actually happening. So I thought like I was bleeding internally. I was like, oh shit. And I was like telling my girlfriend like, yo, we gotta go to the hospital. I'm fucking dying here. So I was just freaking out for no reason whatsoever. And it was a bad mix of like nicotine, caffeine, doing cardio, and that formula basically led to me freaking out. So yeah, just going to the hospital and figuring out like, I'm totally fine. And I went back home, looked at the shirt I was wearing, and it had that lube on it. So a pretty embarrassing story. But yeah, with that being said, like with the healthcare, it was only like $20 for like a full inspection, blood work, everything you can think of. I had that all done, and it was only $30. Back in the US, that would have cost anywhere from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. So definitely healthcare I would have to put in Thailand's category, and it's very first class healthcare. Like it's not like they're just finding needles on the street and putting that in you to draw your blood. No, it's very top notch. And I'd have to say it's a little bit better than the US, because in the US they would give you just drugs off the bat and just tell you to go home and take drugs. But here they actually find out if you have any problems, and if you do, they prescribe the right thing or the right actions you can take to solve those problems. Not like the US where they drug you to get you even more sick, and then you buy more drugs. Therefore, they're making more money off of you being sick. So I'd have to say healthcare definitely in the Thailand category. And then we'll move into the network. So this is a bit controversial as well, because USA does have a very good network, as well as Thailand with Bangkok, a little bit of Koh Samui, a little bit of Pattaya, but mainly Bangkok. So with the network, I'm gonna have to put this down in both, because there are very good networks in the USA, like in Miami, maybe LA, New York, all the major cities, they have a decent network if you're looking for it. And with Bangkok, it has a very big network as well, especially if you're trying to make money online. So to think of it like that, I think Bangkok, that's the more of the network you're gonna be looking for if you're going to be making money online. And then if you want to be making money in person with like a physical business or even online business or something like that, Atlanta, LA, New York, Miami, those are the best places to go. So both of them have a very wide range of networks. So it really depends on where you want to go, and these categories above that determines like which one would actually align with your goals. So now the infrastructure. So I'm from a very small town in Georgia, south of Atlanta, Noonan, Georgia, and we didn't have that much infrastructure. It was like a suburban town with a very few small buildings. And coming out here to Bangkok, Thailand, my whole horizon, my reality expanded to see and live in all these skyscrapers and being able to see the infrastructure here. I'd have to say from firsthand experience, Thailand with the infrastructure, because it's very high quality, it's first class. A lot of people think of Thailand as like this third world country, but coming out here and seeing how everything is designed, the malls, the tourist attractions and everything like that here. I mean, Bangkok, Thailand, it's like from the future, especially like in the inner city. It feels like you're in 2035 or 2040. And it's very nice to see that and to realize like, well, we're actually in a first world country, not a third world country. And the only thing third world that I've seen about Thailand is like the wires, instead of being in the ground, like in America, they are like in the street, like kind of tangled up in the air. So that's the only thing third world, but everything else, it's pretty first world to me. Next up, transportation. So easily Thailand, because first off, it's a lot cheaper. You can literally go all across from Bangkok to Pattaya with less than $50, and that's a pretty long ride. You can go to Koh Samui for less than $100, which is like a tropical island paradise. And you can go to places a lot more convenient and a lot cheaper than in the US. I've never Ubered in the US, but from my friends back home, they say they Uber from the airport to their house for like $50 to $60. And with that price, you could literally travel across the country of Thailand in a very nice car or van. So definitely Thailand with the transportation, and it's a lot safer as well. You don't have to worry about being raped, being robbed, or anything like that, and everyone drives like a fucking NASCAR driver, so there's no worries in terms of like your safety as well. They've been doing that for years. And then last but not least, the cost and the money you can make. So with last but not least, I'd have to say both as well, because you can make money anywhere in the world. It just really depends on what your goals are and how you actually want to make money. I wanted to make money online, so Thailand was my choice for me. But if you want to make a physical business, the USA is definitely your best bet, just because in Thailand you can't really do that unless you get like a work visa or a business visa or whatever it is. So I'd have to say both because it really depends on your goals. But for me, I'd say Thailand, but I did put it in both because you also can make money and live pretty good in the USA as well. So yeah, it looks like Thailand won this. I do have a little bit of bias because I've been here for like a year and a half. So I definitely have to say Thailand, but it really determines on what your goals are, your personal preferences are, because out of all of these, from first-hand experience, I've lived in the USA for 20 years, and I've lived in the USA, in Thailand for a year and a half. So from the year and a half, I've seen the quality of life is better, the climate is better, safety is top-notch, the women are beautiful, amazing, giving, freedom, next level. Can't do anything that I wanted to do in the US, like drive around on bikes that I didn't have a license for, and not wear helmets, take shrooms, drink, whatever it may be. You can do literally anything, but with great power comes great responsibility, so take that how you want it. And yeah, transportation, it's a lot cheaper. Infrastructure, a lot better than my hometown and from Atlanta as well. And then yeah, safety, I think, is one of the most important things if you want to start a family, or that's something very important to you. Like in the US, especially in Atlanta, I always heard like gunshots. There's always like sketchy situations where you could kind of feel the tension rising, and you were kind of unsure of what was going on. And I remember partying in the USA with my basketball friends, and I remember we were all like this far apart from each other. It was like a super tight party. And then we just heard gunshots like inside the party, and then everyone just ran out the door. And that was a very, I want to say traumatic experience, but it was actually pretty exciting. But yeah, none of that's ever happened here in Bangkok, Thailand. I've been in Nana Plaza, Space Plus. I don't drink anymore. So yeah, it really depends on like what categories in this video matter to you that determines whether Thailand or the USA is best for you. But for me, Thailand aligns with my goals and everything like that. So I'm going to stay here as a home base. I'm going to branch out US, Europe, South America, the main part of Asia, and just travel around. But this will kind of be my home base just because of all the categories I gave you guys today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to go hop on a sales call in about 20 minutes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, snap.